The article I have here is called Depression Rooms and Doom Piles, Why Clearing the Clutter Can Feel Impossible. It's from the New York Times. We'll put a link to this in the show notes so you can read the whole thing if you like over at theminimalists.com/podcast. The article itself is by Dana G. Smith, and it's about the link between messiness and mental health is real. These low-lift tips for keeping a clean enough home will help. A camera pans around Abigail Minot's bedroom. The floor is mostly invisible, hidden by piles of clothes. 4 large plastic baskets are stacked on top of each other, some filled with laundry, others with electronics. There are 8 abandoned cups of coffee on the desk beside the table. On the floor lie 2 half-empty water bottles, a novelty bottle of tequila with a glass cactus inside, and a pet food dispenser. Today, we're going to be cleaning my depression room, the 24-year-old YouTube star, who posts videos as Abby Lucia, tells the camera. I fear that the only way I will be able to make myself clean this room is if I film it. The term depression room is relatively new, popularized by videos on TikTok and YouTube that have accrued hundreds of millions of views. But experts have long recognized the link between messiness and mental health. The clutter that can accumulate when people are experiencing a mental health crisis is neither a form of hoarding nor the result of laziness. The culprit is extreme fatigue, said Brad Schmidt, a distinguished research professor of psychology at Florida State University. People are oftentimes just so mentally and physically exhausted that they don't feel like they have the energy to take care of themselves or their surroundings, Dr. Schmidt said. They just don't have the capacity to engage with house cleaning and upkeep that they probably once did. The article goes on to say, a messy home can also contribute to feelings of overwhelm, stress, and shame, making you feel worse than you already do. And while decluttering will not cure your depression, it can give you a mood boost. If you are struggling and it feels impossible to keep your surroundings tidy, here are a few tips on how to clean strategically to optimize your energy and your space. The first tip is focus on function, not aesthetics. For Casey Davis, one of her most popular strategies is, quote, 5 things tidying. The idea that there are only 5 things in any room: trash, dishes, laundry, things with a place and things without a place. Those are the 5 things. Focusing on one category at a time keeps her from getting overwhelmed when it seems like there are 100 different items that need to be put away. We would call that chunking, moving it down to these chunks. So a phone number's 10 digits, but we chunk it into 3 different groups. Right. And it makes it easier to manage than managing all 10 numbers at once. The second tip they have in the article here is make your home work better for you. The first step, Mrs. Brooks said, is to really pay attention to the items you're frequently cleaning up. Then find better places for them to live. What I talk to my clients about is a lot about systems, she says. Figuring out why things are the way they are and where they are, why clutter is building up where it is, and then changing the design or organization around how people are actually using their home. And so, yes, if I keep all of my bed sheets in my living room, it's going to be clutter. I keep my bed sheets on the bed. If I keep my spatula in my kitchen, if I remove it from the kitchen, if I keep my spatula in the bathroom, it's going to provide clutter. If I keep all of my bathroom accoutrements in the kitchen, those things are merely going to get in the way. But if everything has an appropriate home, appropriate for you, wonderful. I keep my toothbrush in the kitchen, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean that you should as well. I use it most in the kitchen. When I get up in the morning, I don't want to wake up my wife or my daughter, and so I head to the kitchen where I brush my teeth instead of the bedroom, which is right next to the bathroom is right next to our bed, right?
Yeah.
Finally, Stop the problem before it starts. Once your space is cleanish and relatively decluttered, try to take a few minutes each day to keep it that way. Mrs. Davis recommended setting a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and getting as much taken care of as you can during this time. Quote, I tell myself I don't have to finish this task, but I'm going to get up for 8 minutes and do it, she said. I'm usually surprised at how much I can get done. I call this a setting the stage rule. Bex and I take 5 to 10 minutes every night and set the stage for the next morning, set our next day up for success, put away the dishes, the blankets, the random things that might be strewn throughout the house, whether it's toys or clothes or laundry that need to be put away, and just taking 5 to 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, putting it away so I can start off the next day with a little bit more calm.
Dude, the timer is brilliant. Because what happens when we have too much clutter or the house is too dirty, whatever it is, I know for me, when I think about tackling that, it gets overwhelming because I don't know how long it's going to take me. And, you know, we always make things harder in our minds than what they actually are. But if you can set that 20-minute timer, all right, I'm going to spend 20 minutes like getting rid of some of this stuff in the bathroom and cleaning it. And I don't have to finish it, but I got to give it, you know, my all for 20 minutes. And my guess is that you could probably clean a bathroom in less than 20 minutes.
This really helps Ella with her homework as well, the work that she has to do with arithmetic in particular. Every day she does 18 pages of math problems. And if left to her own devices, she will sit at a table for over an hour and struggle through them. If I give her, however, a 1-minute timer and chunk it into 1-minute chunks for her, she can do 3 pages in 1 minute.
Oh, wow.
It takes her 6 minutes to do her homework, which would take more than 10 times that if she doesn't have the timer there to watch over her. And so we can do that in our own lives as well. I'm just going to take 5 minutes and do this one task. You'll be surprised what you can do. You can clean the bathroom, as you said. You can dust mop the floors. I give myself 3 minutes to dust mop the floors. And it's just 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm so much more contented by that because I've removed the excess clutter that gets in the way, the dust bunnies, the dirt, etc., in just 3 minutes. It feels overwhelming before we do it, but after doing it, we're so glad that we actually took those 2 or 3 minutes to get that junk out of the way. Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalist Private Podcast, available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.